this was my experience playing Terraria. I made my character, made my world, and spawned in. The guy right next to me is the guide for me. He'll tell me what I need to know to, survive, and also how to, basically, he'll tell me everything I need to know to survive around here. So, first step of any survival game is to cut down trees. And by cutting down the tree, I got some wood, and then I was trying to figure out what I should do, but then this little hopping slime came around me, and Andrew shot an arrow at it. It chased me around a bit before I finally figured out how to lock on, and killed the darn thing, and got gel and copper. After a little while, I already had some wood to start in a house, but my controller has some problems with it, and it thinks, So, I have stick drift, and I shouldn't have to explain to you what that is. But, long story short, it just makes it really annoying to build anything in this game. So get used to seeing me shoot things up, or aim up, or whatever. Get used to seeing things go up, because there's not much I can do about it. So, anyway, I talked to Andrew, but I didn't get what he had anything to say yet, and so I kept going and building on my house. A little while later, and I had a proper full house, a workbench, and a wooden armor. And also a wooden hammer. It is annoying to put in the backplating, but you're not here to listen to me complain. I wanted to start a mine shaft, so I figured why not put it right next to my house. Of course, I am insisting on mining with the smart cursor, which is a bad idea, but things were breaking very slowly. After going this far down my mine shaft, it was starting to get dark, and I had no torches yet, so I went inside, because it was also starting to get out on the outside. A little while later, and I made myself a campfire, which boosts my health regen when I'm around it, and, so, yeah. I was just sitting in my house for most of the night. I'm speeding this up because it's pretty boring, and, yeah, there's zombies that literally come out, and I'm just fighting them. Those things flying are literally flying demon eyes, and it's just a combination of me go to door and then stab thing at door. But I didn't have much life left, and I didn't realize I had to close the door back, and I went outside and touched a demon eye, and then died to a zombie. Since I had nothing else to do, I would just go and mine in my cave for a little while. My main goal for a while is to find iron, and I'll tell you about that when that moment comes. I'm back to my house because I made a furnace at workbench, but out of nowhere, a ghost just started coming in. Yeah, a just straight up ghost. It started killing me, and I still had a thing in my hand, and I didn't think I could attack it. So yeah, I tried attacking it, but I didn't do enough damage, and then I died to the ghost. I don't know how that happened, I don't know why it happened, and I don't know where the ghost came from. So if anyone knows, can you tell me in the comments? Thanks. I wanted to be a mage, so I just spent the rest of the night finding fallen stars to get mana crystals. And then I got ambushed by a couple demon eyes and a zombie, but I'm good at mashing buttons, so I was able to very slowly kill them. And then eventually it became daytime, so I headed back to base and assessed what I was going to do for that day. I ended up going mining, so I could find iron to make an anvil. I didn't know this at the time, but you could make an anvil out of lead, which I didn't know. I thought you had to use iron, so I got frustrated looking for it. Before I got deep enough to the point where it would be dangerous to get back up, I decided to explore the surface a little bit to maybe find a mountain range and find iron. I found this pit. I thought it could have some cool stuff in it, or maybe some iron, and I tried, but no, there was nothing. I ventured onward, and then I literally ran into a wall. I literally ran into a mountain that was so tall I couldn't get over it. So I literally had to go through the mountain. And that was a momentous task. Here's me mining at 4 times speed, and it still took forever. That didn't change the fact that there were also slimes that came in and stopped me from mining.
It just took forever to find anything in this mountain. And like blue slimes kept showing up. They kept showing up, and I still couldn't find anything. Midway through the mountain, there was this little pocket of stuff. I don't know what it was, but maybe there was some loot here, or maybe some iron. I still didn't know that lead could be used in place of iron. But I found this like little route to go up the top. I reached the top, and there wasn't really much up there. It was just that. I mined to see if there was anything in it, but not really. There was still, like, nothing in it. And look at this tunnel I dug to get through it. So I decided to head back to base because it was getting dark. And when it gets dark, I go mining. And I didn't want to waste any time not mining. I continued mining. And mining. And mining. And more stupid mining. I was just trying to find something so I could mine a bit faster. And then my guide started running down here on the map, and then turns out he was running away from a zombie. And don't worry, I took care of him. And I decided to place down some torches, obviously, to see. And whoa, a cave with water. Wow. And I looked in, and I was trying to look in this chest because I still didn't totally get the controls. A spear, shuriken, lesser healing potions, and a builder potion. After a little while, I got right back to mining. I'm speeding this up for obvious reasons. I hit a pool of water right here. Yeah. Water isn't always good. And anyway, I spent the next like 3 in-game days just mining. And there's not that much to look at. I'll probably cut most of it out. I don't know, maybe it wasn't that long. Maybe I just have no sense of time. I did find this cavern though, so that's cool. There was a stronger spear, a lot of throwing knives, a grenade, 10 bars, lesser healing potions, and a recall potion. A lot of this was cool. A little while of mining later, and I ended up back at the surface. I looked around and looked at my inventory. I didn't really know what to do. I could make a dirt bomb, a sticky bomb, a rope, like a rope coil, a thing you can throw, and it makes like a rope that you can climb. I'm just looking at recipes here, and I don't know what to make and what not to make. I don't know what's useful, but I really need to get an anvil to make armor and also to make weapons. But I didn't know that you could make an anvil out of lead yet, so yeah, it was kind of annoying. I found this cave in the side of a mountain while exploring in the other direction, so I said, hey, why not? Let's keep going in the other direction and see what happens. How deep does this cave go? And maybe I can find some iron. I'm just gonna really speed up this part because it's honestly just me walking around a cave, finding rocks, thinking it's iron, and then it's not iron. I did find some silver, though, and some lead, and I'm sorry if this is too fast for you, but it's really not that interesting. So I'm just walking around, hoping I'm finding some iron, and still nothing. I found a couple slimes. I threw a rope thing so I could get back up there. A little lower down the cave, and I found a life crystal. That I was worried because I thought these things were found crazy deep, which I am not very deep. So I thought that I was going to actually hit the underworld before I found iron. Before I knew that lead could be used in place of iron. So, apparently, they are pretty rare, but they're not found super deep. So, what these things do is they give you 20 extra hit points, which is always nice. So, I was worried at this point, and I was just hoping that I could find some iron soon. But I still never found iron in this entire playthrough, so far. So far, I have not found any iron, and I've used lead every single time. Farther downward, I found a minecart track, and then I fought some more slimes, and then I got the achievement, Hey, Listen, which is a reference to The Legend of Zelda. You get it when you encounter a fairy. There it is, my achievement. And yeah, so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know that you're following them and they lead you to treasure. And water is still very annoying because if you go through water, then obviously you can't light a torch. But glow sticks would later solve that problem. One minecart ride later, and I was in this blue land. And then I went the other way because I didn't know what I was gonna run into that way. Plus, I got the I got the achievement vehicle manslaughter, which you get when you run into something with a minecart and kill it. But the actual reason I went back was to map out this part and see if there's anything worthwhile. And I found another life crystal, and I missed it. Just kidding. I did find it, and I mined it eventually. So you don't even have to like have a minecart in your inventory. Just interact with the rail and you'll be in a minecart. And yeah. So I found this spot up here and figured what could be up here. And it turned out there was just a lot of ores around here. Maybe if we go higher up, there will be more cool stuff. And here we go. Oh, and another sped up sequence. This part was just I looked around everywhere. I found another life crystal, and then I realized I forgot to use one. So I just kept mining around, trying to find iron. And anything that looked slightly different, I thought it was iron. I looked everywhere, and I was actually starting to get a little desperate. I used platforms instead of ropes, and I just kept mining and fighting monsters, and it was just a lot. You can see why I sped it up, because it's mostly boring stuff that took a while. I looked everywhere. Like, I kept going. I looked over and over and around again. And then I figured I built that thing to move up, but there was still nothing here. There was, of course, ores that I didn't know how to use, so I didn't take any of them. And now I wish I did. So, like, I went everywhere. And then, I just took tin. I found anything, and then I just went back to the. Eventually, I went back to the minecart thing to search in the blue area. I got off a little early, and I found this area. I was trying to get back up, but that was a little difficult, and I just looked everywhere. Like, I was trying to get back to base because I wanted to be there when I left. Because I was getting really tired. And, like, I felt like what I was doing wasn't... It didn't feel like I needed to do it. And, frankly, I didn't need to do it. This is me having trouble with some ropes because it's annoying. And I just kept walking around and around trying to get back up with my platforms and ropes and, So, after a little while, I used the auto select to, normally it would select my light source, and I ended up using a glow stick. I didn't really use them that much yet, but glow sticks are basically throwable torches, but I think they give off less light, but they can be used underwater. So that's kind of a trade-off. Anyway, more of me just walking around, being desperately trying to find iron that isn't there, and I was just so tired, like I didn't know what to do. After a while, I got back to the cave where I entered, but something started killing me, and it was a zombie because it was nighttime. I died, but I went home, and I guess that's what I wanted, and that's it, I guess. I decided to just regroup and see what to do next here. After a little while of waiting, I went back to the cave and took some ropes up there. I was starting to get really tired, so I decided to go over the mountain this time instead of into the cave. By the way, when it rains, the slimes get little umbrellas. It's kind of funny. On the other side, where there was a big dip, I found a stone area without dirt. There was stone. Also, I think this was a flying fish. I don't know what that was. But they gave me a glow stick. And I thought I had hit a jackpot here, because this place had to have some iron, right? Right? But no. It had no iron because I never found iron in this playthrough so far. Anyway, I didn't find any, and I just looked around, and I only had a couple more spaces left in my inventory, so I don't know how much more exploring I could do. But I healed up and pressed onward. After a little while, I found a literal tree house. A house in the stump of a tree. I mean, you can't really call it a house, but there's a chest. Like, someone hid a chest inside this tree. And I got, equipable thingy. It's climbing claws. Earlier I got this little radar thing that allows me to see how many enemies are nearby. And now I got this claw thing. It allows me to slide down walls. So, sorry. I see that there's a dropping platform, but I'll mine out this other side too. And, like, what's down here? More loot? And, oh boy, did this thing dive deep. Pots, chests, more pots, more chests. All the floors pretty much looked like this. There was nothing really special. Anyway, what could be down here? One of the things I got in here was actually really cool. It was a finch staff. I took it and I used it. I took it, but and I clicked the loot all button. I used it and a bird's nest appeared on my head, where a finch flew into it, and it was so funny. Like, I don't know what it was, and then I actually read what it does, and it summons a baby finch to basically be a pet for me. And it attacks enemies around me, which is actually pretty useful. There was just a cave under the tree house, so I kept going, and there was still a thunderstorm happening. By the way, sometimes when the umbrella slimes die, they actually drop their umbrella, which you can use to float, of course. So I'll put that to use later when I actually go spelunking in taller caves. I found this cherry tree, which I ended up placing cobwebs on. Nothing. When I was trying to mine it, and I remembered you need to use your axe. And a squirrel fell out of the tree, and it just gave me regular wood, not even anything that made it a cherry tree. I kept going, and then my character started doing this face. I don't know what it was. I thought it was like I was getting scared and maybe entering a bad biome, but no. It was actually my character being cold, and I didn't have any insulation, anything to wear. I didn't have a coat. I had some wood armor, but how good is that? So I didn't want to go there yet, and then I placed down ropes, and like I seriously was struggling with the controls. I placed down ropes, I placed down torches accidentally when I was trying to attack. On another spelunking expedition, I found this green thing, which, surprise, surprise, was emeralds! Hooray! But I don't know what to do with them, and I still don't. And I just kept going. Onwards and onwards. I found this magical looking tree that ended up giving me sapphire things. I didn't know what to do with the sapphire. It just gave me stone and sapphire. It was like an ore tree. I don't know what that was. But my inventory was actually starting to overflow, so I probably had to end soon. But that didn't stop me. I just looked for things to trash. Because apparently this game has a trash feature where if you put that thing in the trash thing, when you die or put something else in the trash, it overlaps it. But I didn't use it yet. By the time I got out of that cave, it was nighttime, so I started collecting falling stars again to make some more mana crystals. And when it's nighttime, out come demon eyes. There they are. And my bird couldn't get them because he goes too fast. And of course, zombies. I forgot to lock onto them because I was tired at this point and just trying to get back home. I ended up just ducking back in the cave and exploring a part I never explored. I was really tired because I felt like what I was doing was pointless because I didn't know that you could use lead instead of iron. Alright, before I ended, I just started making a bunch of wooden platforms because I wanted to build all the way to sky limit.
And I eventually did. Look at how fast I built this. And I ended up falling down so fast that I died. But I got back, I went on the highest mountain, and then I just kept on going up. Kept on going up. And then building and building and building. After a little while, I had reached space, but I was ready to leave. So I built a little bit more, and then I called it quits. Because I had other stuff to do that day, like editing other videos. But I'm going to keep playing this game, and maybe I can actually get to beat some bosses. Alright, bye.